Okay, folks, welcome back to Unfiltered Fishing. Let me turn this on before we have another goof. So I actually recorded this entire video and didn't realize that the GoPro was not on. Hi, Elsa. Oh, you make an appearance in this one, huh? Probably do. Okay, so the video today, sorry, let me just adjust my sleeves here. That's going to be a little bit of bounce, but I probably won't switch that over yet. So I have two reels in front of me here today that I already talked about, but we're going to talk about again. Not in the previous video, but actually filming today, so I definitely goofed that. All right, so what do we have? We have the VR50 and a Shimano Nasci 3000, which I'm going to sit here and compare. So I've been using both these reels for about 2 years, 3 years. I think the VR has been around for definitely 3 seasons, and the Nasci probably 2, and I've used them both during both seasons. So I'm probably going to be working mostly off the GoPro for a lot of the video, just because it'll be closer to my hands and you guys will be able to see that a lot better. Excuse the wallpaper. It's like going back to 1985. Actually, I kind of like it, so whatever. This room is another room that we're working on. Hopefully this will probably be we'll set up with all kinds of good fishing stuff and stuff like that. Okay, neither here nor there. Let's get back to what's important here. All right, so I'm going to go over the specs of the reels, and excuse my little cheat sheet here, but I can't remember all these numbers in my head. All right, so the Shimano Nasci. Let's start with that. I'll do them both at the same time. Why not? The Shimano Nasci and the VR50. Right away, we'll just take a quick observation. Very similar in size, very similar in spool diameter. Power handle, power knob on the VR, and just a regular standard handle on the Nasci. Not too much of a difference when you're reeling that in. All right, so specs. Surprisingly enough, the Nasci 8.8, the VR50 8.9 ounces. So very similar. 4.1 ball bearings compared to 8 ball bearings or bearings internally. Gear ratio 6.2 to 1 on the Nasci, 6.3 to 1 on the VR. Max drag on the VR is 25 pounds. So a little bit higher than the Nasci, which is 20. And surprisingly, here's what surprised me the most, because I bought this Nasci specifically for this reason, was the line retrieve, which is 36 inches per crank. And unbelievably, the VR, and I'm not sure because I looked up the specs, but this might be the newer specs. I have to compare them to the older ones if I could find them. 37 inches per crank. So both reels pretty high speed. Pretty high speed. And I had bought the Nasci specifically for false albacore. And the VR50 I had used for false albacore before. I wasn't really liking it, and I definitely liked the Nasci more for false albacore fishing, for whatever odd reason. Other than that, they're pretty similar besides for the price. $99 for the Nasci, so just under $100. When you're talking about the VR, now we're talking 510 on the low side for that reel. So big difference in price. And I'm gonna say that's because of all the seals in the reel. Also, the VR50 has a fully sealed drag, so they say. So it's not a fully sealed reel like a Van Staal, which is fully sealed everywhere. This is a fully sealed drag system. I think they're sealed up pretty good, because I've actually used my VR125 and reeled it underwater, and really didn't have very much water intrusion when it was pulled apart. Again, neither here nor there. Rather not get off on a tangent. The bottom line is I'm really not dunking either of these reels and reeling them underwater. It's not what I use either of them for. They're always, the most they're going to get is splashed. Both those reels. If you wanted to go up a size on the Nasci, it actually, the 4000 is 10.4 ounces, which is almost 2 ounces more. So it must have a larger body compared to it. So the 4000 Nasci and the 5000 are probably set on the same body, whereas the 3000 and the 2500 are probably set on this body here. Another big difference between these two reels right here is the line capacity. The VR holds much more line. It has a deeper spool. The Nasci does not have that deep of a spool, and the line capacity on the Van Staal is what they're saying 360 yards of 20-pound line, whereas the Nasci is saying 140 yards of 20-pound line. So you have much more line capacity on the on the VR. Now, if you go up again to the 4000 Nasci, which is again a little bit bigger of a reel, you're probably talking. I'm gonna say they have it down as 280 yards of 15. So somewhere just over 200 yards of 20 probably you can get on a 4000. And then the line retrieve, see, that's the thing that goes up. The line retrieve on the Nasci 4000 is 39 inches per crank, and it has a max drag of 24. But again, these two reels are more similar in size than those two reels are going to be. This is much more in line with size and weight than the 4000 would be with the VR150. All right, so I went over everything there, and I'll show you the two different rods that I use these two reels on, and I'll go over why, the reasons why I use those ones. I'll start off with this one. And this is, again, I don't know what blank this is because somebody built it. And I don't think he knows. But I know from using it that it's definitely a light action 7-foot rod. Definitely light action. The most I would probably even put on here to 1.5 ounces bucktails. 1.5 ounces bucktails when I'm bucktailing for fluke. And I probably, maybe 1/4 ounce to, I would say 1/4 ounce to 2 is probably like the low and the high on this rod. And I probably, if I had to use any more than 1.5 ounces, I'm probably going to switch it over here to this rod, which is a Staal model, and this is a Tikka. There's a Tikka. Look at that. It just says Tikka graphite. It's a medium heavy, so we can read that right over there. It's a TC2. All right. Fast action. It is pretty fast action, as is the other rod. This is a 7-foot. Oh, you know what? I can put it right down there, and hopefully everybody can see it. 10 to 25 pound line, 3/4 to 3 ounce. So if I had to go with the heavier bucktails in 1.5 ounces, if I was using them for fluke, which is what I do end up using both of these rods for quite a bit, and if I'm fishing some current and I got to go over 1.5 ounces to keep it where I want to, I'm probably going to pick up this rod. I can go a little bit heavier. And so those are the two rods that I used them on. Again, the first rod that I use, I'm using that mainly for albies, back bay bass. I will use it in the back bay for bass without a problem with that reel. I had fish probably to like 12 pounds in the back bay using that rod, no problem. Same thing with the Tikka, just no matter which one I grab. do kind of like a little bit lighter. It doesn't make it a little bit more fun. If I have a chance of running into some beefier fish or over, mid-teen size in the back bay, and I'm using smaller stuff, I'll probably bump up to the Tikka and the VR. The VR and the Tikka blackfish, blackfishing, I use that when I want that extra backbone to be able to pull those fish up out of the rocks. So that's, what I'll use for blackfishing on the jetty or even up on the North Shore from shore. I don't want to put. I want to be able to pull that fish up the first few feet and get some line back on the reel. So the heavier rod does assist with that quite a bit. The Nasci pretty much I'm using for lighter applications with the fluke, like I said, up to about 1.5 ounces, and anything lower than that, and the albie fishing. I just think that rod casts a little bit better with the smaller tins. Again, I could use both rods; they'll both do just fine. But I think I get a little bit more casting distance to hit the albies with the lighter rod. And I can use some lighter tins, lighter hoagie jigs, or whatever I'm using. If I want to go through the heavier ones, I got to punch it through the wind. Again, I can use either one. So, that's it. That's my comparison of these two reels after using them for 3 years. They've both held up well. No problems or having to repair either of them. I keep them both rinsed off and pretty clean, and neither of them have had a problem. I imagine that the VR50, because you can get them serviced a lot easier than you can the Van Stahls, will probably outlive, in the long run, will outlive the Shimano. I will say that. The VR50 will probably outlive the Shimano. And that's about it, guys. That's all I got for this one. So, again, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to the channel. We're getting close to that 500 number, and the 500 subscriber giveaway coming up on that real soon. And again, guys, thanks for watching, and thanks for all your continued support. It means a whole lot to us. Leave a comment down below. I always try to respond to every single comment that's left. Again, guys, till next time, tight lines. Thanks for watching.